All right, welcome everyone. We're so excited to be here. I'm sure you've been to Geneva, you've been down 3rd Street, you've been down State Street, you've been to Graham's, you've been to the restaurants and the shops. But what makes it all go, and where is it going in the future? Today we're here to talk with Paula Schmidt. Paula is the Executive Director of the Geneva Chamber of Commerce. Paula, welcome.
Well, thank you for having me on today. I appreciate the time.
Thank you for joining us.
How are you feeling this morning?
Nervous.
All right.
You're going to do great.
Well, let's rip off the Band-Aid. I promise Katie bites some. I won't bite at all.
All right,
okay?
thank you.
Talk to our people. So first off, Paula, we call our viewers, our listeners, our people, because some people might be watching, some might be listening. So our people. Talk to our people about what is a Chamber of Commerce and what is the Geneva Chamber of Commerce?
The Geneva Chamber of Commerce is a business organization, of course, that helps smaller businesses mostly to help them to achieve their goals, help them to become bigger, help them to be strong in the Geneva area. The Geneva Chamber is a little bit different, though, than other chambers in the area. We kind of wear two hats. One is the membership side, and the other side is our tourism organization that helps to bring visitors to the Geneva area. And we do that through festivals and events. So we hope that they'll come down for the events, but again, come back at another time to actually visit Geneva.
How did you end up in Geneva?
Myself?
Yes.
I live in St. Charles, and I was working as an executive director for the Kane and McHenry County Medical Societies. And Jean Gaines, who had been the executive for 40 years, had decided to retire. And a friend of mine from CIBC Bank told me that this was happening. And at the time, a medical society was sort of dying because all of the hospitals were buying up the individual doctors' practices. So it was like, I need to do something else that's more fun and, a little more exciting. And this came up and I got the job for it. So I was very used to doing membership organizations, events, things like that. So it melded right in there for me. So it was nice.
When you first started with the Chamber, what was the most exciting thing that you learned the Chamber was doing at that time? And we're talking about 2018, 2019 timeframe.
Yes.
What was the most exciting thing you thought that they were doing to help the Geneva community?
So now I have to put on which hat, because you think about the business side of it. What I found very exciting was a good and a bad thing. When I first came in, Geneva Chamber was considered a festival chamber. So I had the ability to help to create it to become more of a business organization. So things kind of changed. We still do the festivals, but we added a lot more programming, a lot more work with our non-retail businesses, because in reality, we probably spend most of our time on the retail businesses because that's right underneath our awning right down the street there. But our non-retail businesses are actually 80% of our businesses in the chamber. We have over 600 members in a town that's only 21,000. So we're very proud of that. So we feel that the business segment of it, when I came in, has really bloomed, and we're very excited about that.
And how have you found a way to make the businesses bloom? What is it that you do?
And it's kind of meshing both of the pieces together. So we have had, how would you say it? We have a lot of exposure when it comes to the festivals. So we have millions of hits on our website. So we had to recreate our website to be able to be a visitor's website as well as our membership website. So the members kind of get the benefit of those people looking for where to go shopping, where to go eat, what time is the music start, that kind of thing. And then they see this membership organization, go to the business directory, and there they see everyone that's a member there. So that has really kind of helped us to mesh the two together because we have so much exposure when it comes to the festivals. Our social media has been great, so that has helped as well. So, I don't know. Is that a good answer or not? I'm not sure.
It's a great answer.
It's a great answer. And, I think, from my experience with the St. Charles Chamber, that was always the perspective that the Geneva Chamber was a festival chamber, right?
Correct.
But I have seen it grow in the last few years, and we're a member of the Geneva Chamber of Commerce, and we had a wonderful ribbon cutting with you all, and it was great. What do you think, or what's on the horizon, or things that are changing with respect to how you deal with the business members specifically, that it's exciting or that it's working, that, hey, if you're a business in Geneva and you're not already a member, you need to come check us out?
And you know what? And that's a good question, because in actuality, everyone thinks that chambers are just networking events and events at night. And I can't do that. I don't have time for that. But really, I think the biggest asset of a chamber is your connectivity. We know so many people. If you were to walk in and go, I really need to find a lawyer that is so-and-so, or I want to work with another business that can sell my candles. I need to find out who my alderman is. I need to find out who my state senator is. Excuse me. So a lot of that is the connecting our members to what really matters to them. And once we get that going, people feel like we know what we're doing and we're trying to help them. Once they get that feeling, they'll start coming to networking events. They'll come to something that is that's meant for them, a woman's group or a men's group or something at breakfast. Maybe they don't like to do networking, but they want to meet people, so they come to a breakfast meeting where it's a smaller, footprint, basically. So I just want people to understand that chambers are not just an event, and you don't have to come to events if you don't want to. They're there, mind you. We do things for every type of business. But when you think about it, we even have Zoom meetings once a month for business topics. People don't even have to leave their office, and they can get some information from a chamber at no charge. And we tell people where to pay their water bills. People call us about everything. So it's like we have to know a lot. So it's nice.
So how do you become a member of the chamber?
Give me a call. Give Robin a call. It's just, of any chamber, I think that all the chambers in the Tri-Cities are very different. They all have a different feel. What we recommend is when somebody comes in to talk to us, is we tell them about our chamber. We discuss that there's things that you can do. Go to the other chambers, see which one makes you the most comfortable. Join all of them if you want to, but they need to feel comfortable in a chamber. So it's coming and talking to our membership director, who is Robin Chayone. They can come and talk to me. They can just give us a call and ask for information. We're proud of our Geneva Chamber, and we're very happy about it. And it's really moved forward quite a bit. So we feel like if you want to become a member of a chamber, this one is a very well-rounded chamber.
I always found in working with the St. Charles Chamber, Paula, that a lot of new members would come in with the idea that this was a networking only organization, and that they would walk in the door and there'd be 10 new customers waiting for them.
Yes.
And I always said to people, this is not about getting new customers today. This is about planting seeds, building a farm. And if you work the chamber, if you come to the events, if you interact with our other members, if you help other members, if you help the chamber, you will begin to build a base. But it takes time, sometimes years. I think that's challenging for many people. Do you see that in Geneva?
Oh, we do, for sure. Because a lot of, especially the smaller businesses that are in Geneva, they expect you to be their marketing and their social media arm. We can do that. We help with that. We teach people how to do it. We have a lot available to them, but they have to understand that we need to figure out what will work for them. And that's putting somebody, don't fit them in a box that they're not going to fit into, because then they will not stay as a member. What you need to do is really decide, what is it that you are interested in? And like I was saying, if you're scared to do networking, don't go to a networking event. We'll find something else for you. Just sit down. Tell us what you feel comfortable with. What do you want to get out of a chamber? And this is what we can and can't do. So if we can't do what they want, maybe there's another chamber that can. So I'm not going to force you to be a chamber member if you feel like this one is not comfortable for you. But we usually talk them into it, so I don't feel bad. We have some good ideas.
I think you really do. And in my experience, I've been pleasantly surprised by going to events and having people be really welcoming.
Hmm.
And I think the resource part that you offer is really helpful, especially to a business that is kind of, growing your roots in the community.
Hmm.
And to have small businesses or just any business, having people be able to get to know other businesses.
Hmm.
And from that, I feel like all of these branches start popping out. Is there any particular business that you can think of where that has been, aside from, ours, because it's been wonderful?
When you say ours, you got to say Feagans Law Group.
That's right.
That's right.
The Feagans
promo.
Law Group, there's our plug.
Hmm.
But is there anyone that you're thinking of
Well,
right now that comes to mind?
They're a small business that opened in Laurel. It was called Sincerely Yours originally. Couples that came from a very high end company management area opened up this business. We're at the chamber, and I'm going to be honest. Ooh, how long is that going to last? Make your own candles. Okay, so they have been so involved in our chamber, moved out to other chambers. They have become involved in the community. And that's the biggest piece of a new business is get involved in your community. First off, join the chambers. Second, volunteer for things. Come on out and be there. Come to events, see what it's like. Say hi to the owner of a shop. But in Laurel has just grown. They have a warehouse in Geneva that they make the candles and sell them retail wise. I mean, it's just a neat story of a small business that got involved. They go every ribbon cutting, every new member that comes up, they are there saying, can we put candles in your store? I mean, that's what you have to do nowadays because it's not Amazon. You have to be there face to face. So it was neat to have them be so successful.
Well, and a plug for them. I went in, it was right around the holidays, and I needed some presents for people. And they had, I went in and I said, well, I was here when it was Sincerely
Mhm.
Yours. And our daughter came in and made a candle, and I think she was like 9 at the time. And it was really bad because she made it.
Mhm.
And I went in and I said, this used to be, and the owner was there,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And she was fantastic. And luckily for us, the candles were already made, with the proper scent this time. But it has been exciting to see them really grow. I agree. That's fantastic.
And it was neat because we did create a Geneva Chamber candle that we would give away to new members so we were all in there, mixing our stuff, and we finally got one and it came back and it's like, this smells like mothballs. I'm not quite sure we want this one. So, it was really kind of a neat experience for us as well to get to know them.
I think your example within Luro, though, is kind of what Katie and I have found in the Fox Valley. You can advertise, you can open a business, you can get a website, you can do all these different types of things, but we're really a community communities really in the Fox Valley that respects branding, that respects community involvement, that respects referrals. I think the way businesses work the best in our area is when you get out there and you meet people and you engage them, and then someone tells someone and tells someone and tells someone. We call it referral based, but that's really what it is. It's word of mouth. That's really going to drive these businesses. And I think the chambers, particularly the Geneva Chamber, is doing a lot to make that happen. That's really great. So I know we're talking about the businesses, but we got to talk about the festivals and the restaurants and the streets, the shops, all that good stuff too. So talk to our people a little bit about the festivals that the Chamber puts on.
Festivals. Okay. We have 4 major festivals that we put on. Swedish Days, which was just last month. The Art Fair, Geneva juried art fair, one always in the top 50 in the country. So it's a very nice accolade for us. That is at the end of July, 2 days, 26, 27, or 25, 26. I'm sorry, my head is already in Christmas. So,
For sure.
And then we have Festival of the Vine, which is a 3-day event that features local beer, wines, and our restaurants, which has always been a fan favorite in Geneva. And then we have our Christmas Walk, which is a 1-night event where Santa comes to town. And we have carolers, chestnuts. It's a very Hallmark type evening. And that weekend as well, we have our house tours. And those are 5 homes that are opened up for designers that we give them money to create a Christmas atmosphere in these homes, and people walk through the homes. That money that we make from the house tours is what decorates Geneva. So all of the greenery, all the lights, Santa, the whole Christmas thing is put on because of that house tour income.
And I have to say that is my favorite. When I first found out about it, I thought you drive down the streets of Geneva, and it's not just downtown. They're throughout.
Right.
And you look in these houses, or you see the outside of them, and you think, what would it be like inside? And to be able to go in and to have them all decorated, and just so beautifully put together. And it's all volunteers. My mom has volunteered, and then I usually take her on the tour as well. But how did that come about?
You know what? That started with the Geneva Garden Club, I believe. So, and then as their membership sort of dwindled through the years, they gave it to the chamber, took it over. So it's been many years that the chamber's been doing it, and we have it down to a science. I mean, we have cities calling us on, how do you do this? How does this work? And it's been just I think it's one of my favorite because people are so happy and so excited. You know, we get the people who are complaining about the hour wait sometimes on the homes. These are people's homes. It's not like we can rush you through. There's only this much stairs you can, walk up and down. And, you have to kind of drive sometimes to some of them. But it's generational. People have brought, it's grandma's coming in. Now grandma's bringing her daughter, and her daughter's now bringing her daughter, and, and sons, if they want to come as well. But it's been a really great event for us. It's just good for the whole city of Geneva because of now we can decorate. So it's kind of a neat thing. So.
Well, and I have to say, I describe the opening of Christmas, it's the first Friday of December. It is a Hallmark moment, and it's part of what makes our town feel so welcoming. And it does look like it's on a movie set. It does,
and it's just so. And like you were saying too, it's all the stores are open. They have all their Christmas celebration stuff, and it's the owner who's there that night.
Right.
And that's what makes it so community driven. It is that Christmas walk is so community. The first time I experienced it, like we're walking down, it was 6:30. It's like there's nobody here. What's going on? All of a sudden, it just swarmed, and it was up and down 3rd Street packed. Once that little parade started with the big tall walkers and the drums line and all that, it was amazing to me. It was heartwarming. And you saw it. It's like grandma was there with the kids and mom and dad. And so it was really it's a neat night. And we just applied actually to Hallmark sent us some information. They choose a few different towns for featured in their Hallmark movies. So we sent a little something in to see if maybe we could have something come.
Well, you'll have to keep us posted on that because
we'll see how that goes.
So exciting.
Yeah.
So the festivals are meant to draw people into the downtown,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
And so what else do you do for the retailers and the restaurants besides the festivals that kind of promote their business?
We have a few smaller events that go on. So we have a coffee crawl and a cocoa chocolate crawl in October, and then the coffee crawl is in April. So what we do is our restaurants, our businesses downtown and in the Commons, when they feel like doing it, because it's a little harder for them to get involved in some of that. So we do separate things with them. But people come in, they have a special coffee that they created. Everybody has something different. They create the coffee, and then we get tickets and help advertise it. And we had so many people wanting to be in the coffee crawl. When we first started it, we were pulling teeth to try and get 10 or 15, and now we have to cut it at 30 because there's so many people who want to get involved. We get hundreds and hundreds of people coming down for those crawls. The other thing that we started in May was something called Art Explosion. We're trying to get a little bit more local feel into some of our events. So we had local artists drawing, selling their wares at local businesses in Geneva. So we had 35 businesses that had a local artist inside the business. So it's not like they're standing outside at the art fair. That's expensive for them to come in and have the tent for the 2 days, et cetera, et cetera. So this is something for local artists that was very inexpensive for them to come and sell their wares. So not only did it help our local artists, but it helped our businesses that they came in. It's like, oh, I'm going to buy that while I'm in here. So we're really trying to do those kind of things. Preservation just started. They got a grant from the city to do something called Sunday Music Session Sunday. I can't remember the exact name of it, but that just started last week. 12 to 3 on Sundays. There's 4 local musicians that just stroll through Geneva. So bringing people down, making it a very comfortable, relaxing feel. So events like that, we try and that helps us help the smaller businesses without it being a super expense, because festivals have gotten so out of control as far as costs. It's if we have one bad weather day, it's not good. So it's been a nice addition to have some of those smaller ones that actually bring people into the shops.
So what kind of artists? You said 35 different. So what kind of artists would that be?
Oh, it was all different ones. Ones that did watercolors, one that made cards that they create, some that did like metal, like they did in a 3D printer, and they make things with 3D printers. I mean, it was a range of so many different artists. I can't even tell you. There was so many. I mean, it was just such a neat, you don't know there's that many people in here. A caricature artist there was. I mean, it was so neat. And our businesses actually loved it because it was just, it was just bringing people in. So, yeah, I could get you a list of how many were there. But goodness,
I think we
should.
It
was a lot.
Yes,
there was a lot. So,
Paula, I don't know that many of the people in Geneva understand that the chamber is the one footing the bill and taking the reins on these festivals. And you mentioned, one bad day at Swedish Days can kind of throw the festival under the bus, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What do some of these festivals cost the chamber? What does Swedish Days, for instance,
well,
cost?
let me give a little PR out to the city. They do, they pay for all of our public works, police, and, fire. So thank you to the city of Geneva for doing that, because we would not be able to afford to do something like that. You would look at something like a Swedish Days costs, as far as expenses go out, probably 300,000 plus.
Wow.
for items. Just nobody understands that it costs us. The parade is $16,000 because we pay for the people to be in there, and if we don't get a lot of sponsorships for it, it costs money to do things like that. We have a kids' day. We've got a 5K run. We've got the beer tents. We've got. I mean, it's the tents themselves, and now we're getting taxed for renting those tents and things like that now, which we weren't before. That's like a whole sponsorship, basically, the cost of that. So it's just gotten higher and higher. And ever since COVID, our volunteers are not volunteering without a stipend. So what we've done is sort of bring that around and make it a positive thing for us. So we have nonprofit groups that come in and they say, if I volunteer for 3 hours, can my stipend please go to Rotary? So, and I have to push my Geneva St. Charles Rotary, because now I'm on the air somewhere and we are told if we don't do it, I get fined. So, but,
oh, no.
Things like that. So the Rotary group comes out and I write a check to a nonprofit. People do it themselves, of course, for, it's only like $9 an hour or something. It's just a stipend. It's not a payroll item. It's not, just to get people to kind of help us after COVID, because it was to incentivize somebody to come out and actually volunteer. It's difficult now. So we tried to make it more positive and give back to the community at the same time.
So how could somebody volunteer? How could they sign up to help?
Right before all the festivals, it goes out on social media that that it's open. So we have a app that you can actually put your name in, sign up for sometimes. You can call the office and they can set you up. We actually are full for the art fair. The art fair is a non-paid one, so that's kind of neat. And the house tours are ones that we only pay the house, the person that stays there all day long. But other than that, those two events are still volunteer driven, but Swedish Days and Festival of the Vine have some cost to them as far as volunteers are concerned.
So you mentioned the stipends. What other challenges did the Geneva Chamber experience as a result of COVID in moving forward? I know other chambers have really saw engagement lapse. Younger members are hard to come by. There's obviously a time period where people were afraid to get together a couple of years after COVID, and sometimes that's really kind of progressing. Do we have Zoom meetings, real meetings? What do we do? What are some of the other challenges that COVID brought to the chamber?
Well, one of them was people stopped coming to events. So that was a little bit difficult. It's now starting to gain a little bit more momentum coming back. But saying that, the younger generation is not alcohol oriented. So some of those things have gone down, as far as that part of a festival. And it's the young group that we have to try and grab. And we have a really very strong, we call it Young Entrepreneurs Program, and they do events together. We're trying to push that a lot because the problem is that generation, and I see it in my daughters, they don't get together like we used to, and know how to talk to each other and know how to hang out, basically. So we have things for that age group, that 24 to 40 side, that just to hang out. They did a YEP event at the Swedish Days and did a bingo. They did Kane, we had tables set up for them. They had a beer, a bingo card, and some pizza, and we had a huge group come out. So it was we're trying to bring that group into the chamber because it's not a group that does it automatically, and that group is definitely a word of mouth group. So you can't go to there's no place you can go and try and get members or membership. There's nothing out there for that age group when you think about it. So it's something that we have to prove that joining the chamber will help you not only in your social life, because they are all becoming friends, but in your business life as well. So did I go on a tangent on that one?
You didn't go on a tangent. And I think
that was great.
It's an interesting concept because COVID happens and people feel less connected, right? And then at the same time, we have this new generation that's come about, and they're used to having an iPhone in their hand all day long since they're a little kid, texting, all this other stuff, and they're not getting together and socializing.
Right.
And there's so much about building a business, building a network that's just meeting people,
finding ways
to get out there and meet different types of people. So I think it's wonderful that you're trying to address that with this young executives program. And, I think that's really the challenge for most organizations right now. I saw it with St. Charles Chamber. Katie and I were involved with the Kane County Bar Association. We see it there. There's just a lack of young people wanting to get out and meet other people. They're not. It's not that they don't want to work. They're working.
Right.
They're just not networking with the working.
And to top that off, Josh, they're very busy with their families at that young age. We get that. We understand that. So what a good positive thing that came out of COVID was we started doing more multi-chamber events so that they don't have to go to one in St. Charles, one in Geneva, one in Batavia. We have so many more events that are multi-chamber, which before COVID, it was taboo to go to another chamber's event because then you would get poached. I hate that word, but that's what they used to say. But once we all got together in COVID, we had our first group that got together after COVID was about 7 or 8 chambers that are along the Fox River. And everyone's like, what are we going to do? What can we do? And we started doing these Zoom business meetings, things like that. Then we started, once COVID was gone, we started having quarterly meetings with these 7 or 8 groups. And it just turned into something that is so magical because people are just like, they're meeting new people. You know, when you go to Geneva, you know which people you're going to see. When you go to St. Charles, you know which group of people you're going to see. But when you go to these Tri-City ones, you're seeing a whole group of different people, and it's only one night. So it's something that was so great that came out of COVID. And I think our Tri-Cities one is the most popular one. Geneva is actually hosting the next one. I'm going to put a little PR in for that, October 7th at Bash. So they're going to give us appetizers, a cash bar, and we're playing bingo again since it went over so well at Swedish Days. So we're just trying to make it fun, a fun networking event for the Tri-Cities. So it's been really a great experience for us, and it helps us not only to not have to plan for events, big networking events ourselves, but we all kind of share in the joy of that. So.
A recurring theme for us is cooperation, not competition.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it's so great when you can come together and everyone grow from it. So the Young Entrepreneurs Partnership, you called it YEP.
Yes, Young Emerging Professionals. That's
Emerging
what it is.
Professionals. Yes. Fantastic. So what are some of the businesses that are involved with that?
I would say most of it is like bankers and financial advisors, that kind of thing, where they're trying to meet some people. Rarely do you get anyone from the retail side because that's normally they can't go to events, usually for the retail side. But it has been that type of, marketing people, graphic designers, that kind of thing, that a lot of people who work from home. So because that's the only, they don't have an office to stand at the water cooler anymore. So they are coming to some of these events to meet people that are in their age group. So it's been exciting. I mean, because it is a very cyclical group though, because as you have the women who are in charge, then all of a sudden there's a baby involved, so they're not coming anymore. So you have to find more people to be and come and get involved. But right now it's a pretty strong group, so it's nice.
It's interesting when we talk about young people. I wonder, and I don't know this, but I wonder, and if you've seen this, Paula, but it seems like in this new generation, let's say call it 24 to 40, and even maybe our generation, Gen X, men seem to be more involved with kids and the home life. It's not just women doing all the different types of things.
Completely correct.
So if you look at generations past, maybe it was the men who were leaving those things to mom to do and then going off and networking, or vice versa maybe. But with both people now more involved, I wonder if that impacts the ability of these professionals and these business owners to get out and network in the evening time.
It completely does, because you see, even our board members, the ones that are in that age group, it's just like, okay, I can't get there until I got to wait until they get on the bus, that kind of thing. And you have to work with that now. So you have to make sure that you're not doing events that are, 6 to 9 o'clock at night. You have to make sure that they're quick enough where they can pop in for an hour and feel comfortable meeting people, but not staying all night. And then you have the men that used to just stay and hang out, and that was their night away from home. Now it's like, I've got to get back. I got to help, kind of a thing. So we totally see that. And that's why we've shortened our after hours so that people can come, still we make it so that it's a little before 5 o'clock, but they can stay until after 5 o'clock. But, coming home a half hour later is much different than coming 3 hours later. And we understand that. I mean, it's a different mindset than it used to be. And we're trying to get into that mindset, doing, Twitter videos and things that we normally haven't done previously, because we have a little bit of a younger communications person that we hired. And she's like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? It's like, okay, there you go. So, and it's getting a lot of people, and we're doing some podcasts for, not us, but iHeartRadio is doing some podcasts for us. So we're going to try and step into that podcast area. So
This is a good start.
It's fun, isn't it?
Oh, it's so much fun, Josh.
You're doing a great job.
So one of my favorite groups is the Geneva Women in Business. And I always think, I don't know why it's always at the holiday when there's that gathering, but could you tell our people a little bit more about that?
Oh my gosh, that is one of the favorite events of the year. Our Geneva Women in Business has been around for quite some time. It's sort of evolved into a little something different now. It's not. It was an actual offshoot of the chamber. It's now a committee on the chamber. So it is. We only do maybe 4 events, but that one in December is still our biggest one. People donate gift certificates. It's a luncheon. There's Christmas music. It's very nice. Everyone dresses up. It's really fun. A lot of our businesses donate gift cards. They donate wine. They donate baskets and things like that. And everybody buys raffle tickets for it. So the raffle tickets go to a nonprofit of GWIB's choice, Women in Business, Geneva Women in Business. So not only are they having fun and enjoying their times and winning stuff, but that money is going towards a charitable organization. So, and that was one of my things that I felt was very important as a chamber, is to give back, because we weren't doing anything like that in the past. And I feel like that's an important part of a chamber, because that shows your community spirit. So that's one of our best. And it's not only for women, Josh. Men come too. But it's really a fun event in December.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And at a time of year when you're so busy, but you still need to make sure that you put that one on your calendar.
Yes, for sure.
So you mentioned this a little bit, the Commons, because we think about Geneva, we think about 3rd Street, we think about State Street, but the Commons is sitting there, and the Commons has really transformed over the last few years, right? It went from being the traditional mall that we think about from the 80s and the 90s to something that's more like a city center west almost. Talk about the transformation that they're making there.
You know what's been really nice is, I think it was probably about 2-3 years ago, they got a new management company. The 2 women that are working there now are just phenomenal. They're coming up with new community events. They fixed that neat little area in the middle for their movie night to make it more comfortable. We were over there right before Christmas, and the Christmas tree that they had fallen over, and it's just so funny, because it's just they're trying to just make it more community oriented. They're wonderful. We did a really neat healthcare type event in one of the buildings that was vacant. We had about probably 50 people, probably 30 to 40 were chamber members that just came, and the public came in on a January at -3 degrees, but people came there, and they're trying to do things like that and trying to work with the chamber. They are chamber members. It's very difficult, though, for those box stores to be chamber members. It's not in their budgets. They might join for the ribbon cutting, and then in a year they won't rejoin. What we did with the Commons is, because they're so active and they want to be active with us, is they are a chamber member, and then below that we do a little discounted membership so that they can be part of the chamber as well. So we've gotten a few people. It's just they just don't have that in their budgets to do a chamber type thing, and maybe they don't need chambers because they have their own marketing companies. They have their own, inside business workings that maybe a chamber is not a part of it. I really feel like chambers they work the best for the small businesses that don't have that capacity or that ability to use a large marketing firm, or to, let's switch. It's here. We have one marketing firm that says, okay, can you do some social media for you, and I'll do a video for you. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's what's so cool about chambers, is that connecting these people. And I don't think some of the box stores really need that kind of feel. But yeah, the Commons is just taking off. I don't know what they're going to put in that big building. What just left? That huge.
On the corner by Wet
Yes.
Nose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
that has been an interesting space.
Mhm.
And I think it's such a pretty space with
It
all
is.
the windows
It is.
there.
Yeah.
And the thing is that almost anything could go in
Mhm.
there, and
Yeah.
be really great.
Yeah. They do have a lot of larger empty spaces. I think what's nice about downtown Geneva is like once something leaves, something comes back in. Well, like except for Little Owl and, Old Town Pub. But we'll talk about that at another time. There's just so much on State Street that's infrastructure. There's so much infrastructure that's needed in those buildings there that it's been very hard for people. They'll get in and they'll be all gung ho and then just go, maybe not so much. So hopefully something will come to those soon.
Paula, in the law business, we call that a leading question. So you kind of led us right there. That is something that I notice in the downtown area. So we've got some beautiful old buildings. We've got some areas that have a harder time than others. And of course, that old Little Owl building, was it Flagstone?
Flagship, yeah.
Flagstone, whatever it was.
Yeah, Flagstone, yeah.
It's been vacant for some time. I know several people have looked at it. There's still some construction going on. What's on the horizon there?
At this point, it is both of them were under Casey from Foxfire was a part of that group. His friend from Peerless Fencing had purchased the Little Owl and have done so much to it. At this point, I can speak about that. That's almost ready to go. There's still some more things they have to do with it, but it's just money runs out. And so that's back up for lease again. That was supposed to be a allergy-free type restaurant, which we were so looking forward to because that's needed. But that one is, that's back on the market again. I have not heard anything about it. The Old Town Pub was, how can you say it in a nice way, was not left in good condition from the people who left it. So that was a whole nother problem. And infrastructure on those old buildings, like there's the building, and I can't remember who was in there. So it's got to be 10 years since somebody's been in that building next to State Street Jewelers, a little bit down from there. It used to be a used child's clothing store.
Yes.
And somebody bought it. Yeah, good sense.
Yeah.
Somebody did buy it, and it's supposed to, someone from Batavia had bought it. So we haven't heard what's going on with that at all. So that's still kind of up in the air. But Craft Urban was sold, yay. So that's going to be a bakery downtown. So things that are along 3rd and James and Fulton and all those go fast. The ones on State Street are tough because of the infrastructure.
What do you see in the businesses that succeed that they have in common?
I think the ones that succeed become very community oriented. They are very willing to talk to people coming out, the owners. The community part is huge. So I think becoming a member of a chamber, coming to a ribbon cutting, become an ambassador, go meet the new people that are coming into town. I think it's really, those are the ones that are successful, the ones that ask for help. The ones that don't ask for help are the ones that, thinking they can do it on their own or have no business experience or whatever. There's just so many that are so successful. I mean, you look at there's a used sports clothing store above Livia. And I am spacing its name, and I am terrible with names, so I apologize for that. But they are owned by a young man that's probably only about 22, 23 years old. It's taken off. I mean, it's like, who doesn't want to buy an old jersey from somewhere? I mean, it's like, so younger people are starting their businesses, and they're coming to us and saying, hey, help me. What can we do? And we tell them, go to a SCORE meeting. I don't know if you're familiar with SCORE. It's it's run by retired professionals, and what they do is they go to the Laurel warehouse once a month, and they have new topics that they bring to new businesses every month. If you're a new business and you don't go and pick these guys' brains, you are crazy. So I mean, that's one thing that Geneva has that a lot of the other chambers don't. So we kind of pride ourselves on that, and we always send our new members or somebody who's new to a business to those SCORE meetings so that they can learn. And then they're not only learning from a retired professional, but they're also meeting people that are in their same spot, in a new business that really, how are you working this? How are you doing this? I have this problem. What do you do for that? So these kind of meetings, that's what helps these businesses be successful if they ask for help and they go for it. So it's easy to say, you didn't do this for me. Well, you've got to do it for yourself. I mean, there's just so much we as a chamber can do, so things that we can offer. But
so when Katie and I first moved to this area, we always considered the Fox Valley, really the Tri-Cities, as kind of one larger community.
Mm-hmm.
And I know if you're from the area, you're going to go back and forth, and there's heated rivalries and this, that, and the other. But it seems like every community within the Tri-Cities brings something a little bit different to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about Geneva, of course, I think it would be incorrect to say that it doesn't have an advantage with 3rd Street, because 3rd Street is just such an unreproducible type of environment, and something that I think everyone sort of envies, even if they don't say they do. Mm-hmm. And of course, our office is there, so that makes it even that much better. But what else about Geneva makes it so inviting for businesses to come in besides the just natural ambiance of 3rd Street?
And I think a lot of that has to do with the loyalty of the customer base in Geneva. They want to buy local. They're very, very, very strong in that area. So the economy does well in Geneva. So not only are you getting the community that's very strong on buying local, you're getting the tourism side. And it's a tourism area. So we get those people in that are coming in and walking. And I'll say Geneva is the most walkable of all the cities, and that's what really makes it work. Even State Street is walkable because of the can't park because it's terrible to get out of there, but it keeps you away from the trucks that are coming by, so you don't feel like you're on a main street because of that parking. But it's just a strong, and I've got to say, all the businesses support each other, which makes it when somebody just goes, I wanted a necklace like this. Well, why don't you go down to Cocoon, because they probably have it there. You know what I mean? It's like, if you can't find it here, go find it somewhere else. But stay here and do it here.
And the variety of businesses is spectacular in Geneva. Mm-hmm. If you really need to have, women's clothing, children's clothing, and not even getting into, well, actually, I think we should get into the restaurants.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we're all kind of obsessed. We absolutely should. So is there any, are there any new restaurants coming in?
Well, the last one that just came in was Portofino Trattoria, which is Portofino from Campton Hills. It is just hopping. It is fantastic. Other than that, I'm trying to think, and the bakery that's coming in. But those are the newest restaurants. La Cachan has really taken off. Once the company that was there, it was a little disorganized as far as the management of it. So when Bernie from Craft Urban came in with his son, Bernard, they just really put together a really neat restaurant. And then down by you, the Brazilian.
Yes.
Oh, the steakhouse.
Pao. Yes.
They just came in and they just said, just call us PG.
Oh, yes.
But, and then having the BG group down here and all those restaurants, they just know, and Bob Karras over at Rookies, I mean, in all the, areas, I mean, all these people know what they're doing. I mean, you don't see a lot of restaurants go under, and if they do, it's because of management, or because it just wasn't the right fit for Geneva. So you don't want Geneva to be, you don't want all high-end restaurants, but you also don't want all bar food. So what's nice is that there's a nice combination of all those types of restaurants. A new little delicatessen opened up over by on 4th Street. That's a tough spot, so I hope they do well because they've been packed. So I hope they keep that up. But the food is really I heard it's really good because every time we go to try it, the line is too long. But yeah, there's some neat restaurants in downtown.
So again, going back to when Katie and I moved out here, I was one that wanted to come out to the suburbs. I think she was reluctant at first.
For
So
sure.
we had to agree, well, we'll still go back downtown. We'll go to eat. We'll go to shows and everything else. And then we got out here and we found no need to go back downtown. There are shows. There are restaurants. It's all there, and it's a wonderful mix. I did notice, to your point, the restaurants that tend to do poorly, what I saw a lot of, Paula, was that someone would go and open up a really good restaurant, and then they'd think they have the secret sauce. And then they'd open up a second and a third really quick.
Yes.
And that would kill all three of them, right? And so that was challenging. But speaking about the Geneva, whether it's at the Commons, downtown, looking at the mix of what we have now, what's one thing you think that we're missing that if we had would really just take off?
It's so funny because if I say something, it used to be once the coffee shop kind of, it's like, we need coffee. And then 45 coffee shops are now open. You know what I mean? I don't know. We have such a mix of so much. I can't think of anything. I mean, we have breakfast, we've got lunches, we've got dinners, we've got high-end dinners. We have, I think probably more of a sports bar kind of thing would be a nice addition to, which I think that's what the one pub was supposed to become that Casey was trying for. But I think we need something like that. That's the only thing I think that Geneva's really missing is that sports bar kind of feel, because there really isn't anything that's a. Can you think of anything that's a sports bar?
Not a sports bar, and it's funny because we look at other towns, and I think people in Geneva are like, well, you go to St. Charles for that, or you go to Batavia for that, but we do have some very nice, I'd say bars, but you've got the Ale House, you've got Stockholm.
True.
They're not really sports bars.
Yeah.
They're more dinner places. I mean, they've got some really interesting menu items, some really interesting drinks and things like that, but they're not really a sports bar. So I think, with Old Town leaving, with Flagstone being gone, with Little Owl being gone, I think that is something that, if done well, would really take off in the area.
I agree with that. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much what I would. Because before it was like, I don't have enough breakfast. It's like, and then it's like when somebody says you don't have enough of it, then all of a sudden it's just crazy. But some neat, Mosaic is a restaurant that's like very unique. The Savia coffee shop down by the train station, a bakery and coffee shop. What a gem. And she's just wonderful. So it's just, there's so many neat little places that, And I was looking at the sheet that you gave me. Tell us your favorite restaurant. It's like, no, I'm not falling for that one. Can't do that. It's like picking your favorite child. So
we do. We just say who's the one who's the least troublesome right now, and then that one is. Well, I do. Anyway, you say you have a favorite. But
that's funny.
Mine moves around.
So, what are some of the challenges that the chamber's facing in the future?
Let's look at this two ways. I think the biggest challenge is the online shopping, I can't lie. I mean, for festivals, we have to do some Amazon shopping, or we would be out of the office for 3 days. So we have to do some of that. I think that's a deterrent sometimes for people to actually come out and go shopping, because it's so much easier just to do it at home. But what I think Geneva brings to the table with that is they have to keep the feel of touch and smell and taste and, and still have that feel and make it easy for people to park and come into these cute little places. It's still an adventure, and we have to keep it an adventure for people to come in. So that's one of the things is that. I think for the chamber as well is every chamber should have a good relationship with their city. We have a little strained right now, and it's getting better. We have seen the new city administrator and assistant city administrator are very, very pro-chamber with us, where we had a little bit of a different feel with the past administrator. And I think it's just we are trying so hard to really make that relationship stronger, because you can't have a chamber and a city that are not working together. I think it's getting better.
Well, and I know you're
a work in progress.
Yes, it is.
And
It
I
is.
and feel free to tiptoe around this as best you can. But I know our people are going to be a little interested because they've heard a lot in the news, even local
For
news,
sure.
about some concerns the city had with the funding that the chamber was using for the festivals and how that was looking and so on and so forth. So, being as diplomatic as possible, maybe now you could explain or set the
Of
record
course.
straight a little bit about kind of how that all evolved and what's being done moving forward.
Sure. The city had a contract, the chamber, I should say, had a contract with the city for $150,000 a year. We could only spend it on advertising, not, so it was not going to anything that had to do with the chamber, the members. It had to do advertising only.
And for the festivals, right?
For festivals, for shopping, for restaurants, it was anything that had to do with tourism advertising. I was the one who was in charge of that, and I kept pretty tedious records on that. Of course, during COVID, we had a little deposited in the wrong account because I had the wrong, things like that. So they were saying about 2 years ago that they were thinking about going to the Aurora CVB, which is a, organization that helps them to get grants, things like that, a little bit more so than we could do. They send them to a lot of different conferences, things like that. They only, the Aurora CVB, and according to the meeting that I went to when they were presenting, only 40 cents of the dollar goes back to Geneva. When they were giving us the $150,000, it was all going back to Geneva. So what happened was that $150,000 had to go, so they were trying to prove to themselves that we were not using the money properly. So we went through a major audit. I mean, we had everything from 2018 on to show them what we spent the money on. I had receipts, I had checks, I had everything. By the time of course, I wasn't perfect because there was, turned numbers around and things like that, or forgot this and where is that? So let's go find it, and we put it all together. Probably took about 9 months to do this audit, and we were only off $74.
Wow.
So from 2018 on to only be off $74, I thought that was pretty good. So I was told that I was cheating them somehow, but I don't know why that was. I'm a very honest person. We're very transparent. So I told anyone, I wrote a long letter to our businesses explaining what was going on. And if they wanted to come see the audit information, please do. We have it all there for you to see. Not only do we got audited by them on the money that we spent with that, but we as a chamber get audited by the Attorney General, because we were kind of fighting it a little bit because they were using our ticket money at events as a donation from the public. We couldn't get over that, so we had to start doing audits. The first one cost us probably $25,000
Oh, wow.
the first year, and then it started to get more, affordable for us, but we still have to do that audit every year. So on top of that, and on top of our accounting firms, we had to pay like 3 accounting firms, the audit one, the one who is doing it now, and another new one to get this information all together for us. We were in the minus, for the end of the year for a couple of our years. So we're trying to catch up with that. Bad weather at Swedish Days did us in 2 years ago. So it's prices went up extremely high when it comes to, expenses for our festivals, which we kind of talked about a little bit. But I think right now we're turning a corner. We're feeling pretty good. I think that we've done a really good job. My board was very supportive of all the work that I did, so I don't feel like I did anything wrong. I'm not perfect, so there was some errors in there that we had to fix and change, but nothing dramatically that I would have to go to jail for. But and things like we were not telling the truth on the number of people that come to festivals.
Those were the claims.
Yes. So that we were using numbers on our 990s, I think it's 990s, from years ago. It's not something we looked at. We look at the numbers. We don't look at the descriptions of our festivals. So we had to obviously look at that and change those because since COVID, it's gone down, of course, and every festival has lost, visitors or whatever. COVID and then, dangers that people feel like in crowds now, things like that have caused festivals to be a lot less attended. We feel like we never used those numbers for sponsorships. So that's what we were getting told, that we were lying to our sponsors and we should give the money back. But we never used those numbers for sponsorships. Even if we did use those numbers for sponsorships, they get so much more than just those numbers. Social media, banners, packets. I mean, it's just, we give so much for that sponsorship money that's involved in their sponsorship. So not one sponsor came back and asked us for their money back. So we're happy about that. How you look at numbers, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, it's hard for a chamber that doesn't get a lot of monetary support from the state, kind of a thing, to be able to do an AI type, how many people are coming? How many people walked in here? Where's your placer AI? How many people are coming in for that? That's hard for us to do, but it's also difficult for everyone else to do, even when they're using it. If they're doing a footprint of Festival of the Vine, that's just James, and whatever. But there's so much more that's going on downtown. So not only are people coming to our event, but the whole point of this event is to get everybody doing something at their places of business so that everybody's benefiting from this festival. So those numbers weren't taken into account. Swedish Days, we had last year, it was our 75th anniversary, and the Cougars did a huge game for us. Thousands and thousands of people came to the game, giving away T-shirts and, things like that. But those numbers were not counted. Things like that it's sometimes a half-truth is almost like a lie. So you've got to tell both sides of the story on this. Yes, they were worried about the money. We proved that it was not a worry. Why is that not in the newspaper? Because it's not news.
Well, it's not politically convenient news, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say a couple things, Paula. I think that, you and I talked about this, and I think the genesis of this, at least on the surface, was the money you received for the advertising, I think you explained, came from the hotel motel tax incentive fund. And so the city was trying to, at least on its face, determine whether or not the hotels and motels were getting the bang for their buck, so to speak, right?
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I'm one that's on 3rd Street every day. On those festival weekends, it could not be more crowded. It could not be more packed, right? And I think, maybe it's a short-sighted thing to think about, because if someone comes downtown for a festival, whether they're local or not, whether they're staying at a hotel or motel or not, in that instance, it's likely to draw them back because they're going to see something they're interested in, a shop, a restaurant, something they didn't get to do that day. So I don't know. I think it's incredibly challenging for a small organization with limited funds to be able to justify these things the way a large government organization wants them to justify it. And from all accounts, they're successful festivals.
They are.
Everyone talks about them. It's not just in Geneva. People are always talking about this festival or that festival. We're downtown talking to attorneys, and they say, "Oh, I love Geneva. I always come out for this or that."
It is. It's nice.
And so we've encountered people from outside of the state that talk about the Christmas walk or something like that.
And the house
right?
tours, it's national. People come fly in from all different places.
When that announcement comes out, I am buying my tickets immediately because they sell out.
Yeah.
So I think I appreciate, and from a chamber member also,
Mhm.
I think you guys have done a wonderful job. I think you continue to do a wonderful job. And that interplay of where politics meets reality sometimes doesn't really flesh out, like you said, the whole
It
truth.
doesn't, and it's the whole truth sometimes doesn't come out. And the other thing that we want to stress too is that hotel money, the money we were getting from the city was not taxpayer money. It was hotel motel, and we were getting all this. Why are you wasting our money on the chamber? It's not your money. It was visitors' money that they were spending on us. So it's not. That was another fallacy that was never, clarified during this whole thing, that this is not taxpayer money. This is hotel motel money, which is completely different ball of wax. So, and I don't want it. The city does great things for us, and I just have to say, I mean, we thank them tremendously for all the things that they do for us. It was just a little bump in the road that maybe we're going to have to get over, and I'm not going to.
It's a great partnership, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the city's amazing. The chamber's amazing. We have this wonderful business community, this wonderful place to live and work and
school
thrive,
district,
all
park
that
district.
stuff, right?
I mean, county courthouses right there. We have the train. I mean, it's fantastic. It's a great spot.
So we talked about the challenge. What's exciting coming up? What are the new things we can expect to see from the chamber in the years to come?
A little bit of something that I can't really tell because it's not, it's not baked yet, but we are kind of doing a little bit of a reorganization of the chamber. So we are trying to figure out ways that we can be able to make Geneva better, bring more exciting things down to Geneva, and not have to worry about any kind of political or any kind of money coming from the city. We're trying to work so that we all can work together and not feel like one is a burden on the other. So we're kind of making some changes and reorganizing a little bit, and you'll probably hear a little bit more about that in a couple of months. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, that sounds really exciting. Can't wait to hear more. Okay, are we ready for our rapid fire questions? Have I missed anything?
We could. So, well, I think we have to go outside of Geneva so she doesn't,
that's fair.
lose favor with some of the children there. Because a lot of what we had for rapid fire was going to be, favorite restaurant, favorite this, favorite that. Now we can do that, Paula, but I don't want to put you on the spot necessarily and lose favor.
I am not going to be able to say anything like that because
Let's talk about this. What's your favorite spot outside of Geneva in the Tri-Cities?
Well, you know what? I live in St. Charles, so we do a lot of downtown St. Charles things, the Arcata, going to, eat down there. We love doing things along the river here and in St. Charles. We'd like to do a lot of biking, so being in the Tri-Cities is a great spot for biking. We're going to try and get into kayaking, but I've got to start working my arms a little bit more for that. But yeah, that's what we like to do is biking, going out to eat in all the Tri-Cities. We're so lucky because it's like just like tonight. It's like, where do you want to go? It's like we have roll the dice. It's like they're all great. So, and our favorite date night is just basically going to a restaurant and stopping for ice cream somewhere. So, pretty calm. We're not, crazy people. So.
We're very pro ice cream in our world, for sure. I don't care if it's 100. I don't care if it's a -2. Ice cream is great. What is something that you would like people to know about you?
I just want people to understand that I'm passionate about Geneva and making it a better place. And we all should be passionate about making Geneva a better place and keeping it the way it is. I wouldn't do anything to harm that relationship. I'm very transparent, very honest. So I don't feel, I feel like the press gave me a little bit of a bad rap, but I feel like I have overcome that, and I feel like we're moving on a better path. And I feel that I can't be any more passionate about Geneva and my employees and making the chamber great and the members of the chamber great. So that's when I got this job, that was my biggest thing. It's like, let's grow, let's be good, let's make sure that Geneva is getting the positive side with the chamber. So
I think you're doing a great job. I really do.
thank you.
Paula, we really appreciate you coming on Behind the Fox. And when people want to get a hold of you, how can they find you?
You can just give us a call at the chamber office. There's also our website has all of our information, genevachamber.com. And just give me a call. Just call and ask for Paula. I love to talk to people. When I started this job, I said, okay, it's good and bad. I want to hear it all. So I don't mind people complaining to me, because if they come in with a complaint, then let's try and figure out how we can make that better. So that's I like to do that. I mean, that was one of my fortes coming in, to try and make things better and the relationships better. Not everybody loves me, believe me. So, but we're trying our darndest.
It's awesome, Paula. Well, thanks to all of our people for watching and listening. If you like what you heard today, please subscribe and follow Behind the Fox. Tell a friend about us. We'd love to have more people dropping in and checking us out as time goes by. Paula, thank you again. We'll see you next time.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Paula.